Hello and welcome back. This is another 7th grade math video. And in this video, we're going to be focusing on how to divide with integers. Okay, so before we start practicing, let's review the rules for multiplying and dividing integers. And I know this video is only about dividing integers, but the rules for multiplying integers is the same. So those rules are, if you are dealing with two numbers that have the same sign, your answer is going to be positive, whether that's two positive numbers or two negative numbers. Either way, your answer will be positive. If you are dealing with numbers that have different signs, and that could be the first one is positive, second one negative, or the other way around, then your answer will be negative. So let's use those rules to look at this problem. And the way that I like to do the dividing integers is I do it in two separate steps. The first step is to decide whether my answer is going to be positive or negative based on the rules. So we can see in 3 divided by -1, we have two numbers with different signs. The 3 is positive and the 1 is negative. So I know this is going to be a negative answer. So I'm going to go ahead and put a line there so that I know I've already thought about this. Now, the second step is just to do the calculations. So I'm just going to do 3 divided by 1 and ignore the negative part for now. 3 divided by 1 is just 3. So at the very end, I'll put those two steps together. And my final answer to this will be -3. Okay, here is our next example. So first step is to decide whether my answer is going to be positive or negative. So I'm taking -6 and I'm dividing it by -3. That means both the numbers are negative and are the same sign. So that means my answer is going to be positive. So I can put a little plus here for now, just to remind myself that I've already thought about it and it's going to be a positive answer. Now I can just go ahead for the second step and do the calculations. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So I'm going to go ahead and put that here. Now for my final answer, I can just rewrite that as 2 because +2 is just 2. So that is going to be the final answer. Okay, here's our next one. It's -6 divided by 2. So first step is to decide whether this answer is going to be positive or negative. We're dealing with numbers that have different signs. The 6 is negative and the 2 is positive. So since they have different signs, we know our answer is going to be negative. So I'm going to go ahead and write a negative there. Now I just have to do the calculation, which is 6 divided by 2, and that equals 3. So the answer to this one would be -3. Okay, here's the next one. Now this one is a little bit bigger. My numbers are bigger, but I'm going to use the same process. I have -240 divided by 3. So my two numbers have different signs, which means the answer to this will be negative. So I'm going to go ahead and put a negative sign there. Now what I have left to do is the calculation. I have to take 240 and divide it by 3. So I can go ahead and use a trick for that since 240 ends in a 0. And that's where I focus on the numbers that are not 0. So 24 divided by 3. That would be 8. Then I can add this 0 to the end of that once I've done that calculation and then put this here. So 240 divided by 3 is 80. And then I put it next to the negative that I already decided this answer would be, and I end up with -80. So if you're curious about that trick I used with a number ending in 0, check out some of my previous videos I've done on dividing numbers ending in zeros. The final answer here would be -80. Okay, here is the last one for today's video. It's 280 divided by -70. So again, I'm going to use two different steps. First, I'm going to determine if my answer is positive or negative, and then I'm going to do the calculation. So since they have different signs, I know that my answer to this is going to be negative. So I'm going to go ahead and put that here. That means to do the calculation, I'm going to take 280 and divide it by 70. Now, another trick for this would be to eliminate some zeros. So if I'm dividing by a number ending in zeros, I can take away the same amount of zeros from both numbers and get the same answer. So if I want to take this 0 away and this 0 away, as long as it's the same amount of zeros from both numbers, I can do that. Then 28 divided by 7 is 4. So that means if I put it next to the negative, that my answer here would be -4. And again, if you're curious about that trick I used right now for the division, check out some previous videos I've done on dividing numbers ending with zeros. All right, you guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and then I hope to see you in another video soon.